Star Trek, the sitcom. Tawny Newsome has been talking about it and has given a few little hints. So, what do we know? And what do we think? Welcome to the Tachyon Pulse podcast.
Our Tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
I'm just going to start off by saying I love Tawny Newsome. I think she's great. I think she's very funny. She is going to be writing for Starfleet Academy, which is the one thing I'm actually maybe looking forward to with Star Trek 90210. And she really knows her Trek. Actually, in this interview with Trek Culture, she actually cracks a joke about how she really wants to get stuck into this project, this Star Trek sitcom. She wants to do this work-based comedy. And she wants to go to Warp 10 and turn everybody into lizards. She cracks that joke, but she also shows that she knows that reference. She actually says in the interview, I know comedy like the back of my hand, and I know Star Trek like the back of my hand. It's just trying to find out where those two things intersect is the really exciting thing about doing this project. So she was very careful when chatting to Trek Movie in this interview not to give too many details away. But what she did say was quite interesting. So for the one thing, she said, we're still working on the project. It's still, developing, still becoming something. As I say, it's trying to find out that place where the comedy and Star Trek intersect. It will be set still on a planet that's sort of like a holiday vacation planet, not Risa, and it will be outside of the Federation. And she hinted that actually it'll be Federation officers on this planet and going through the nitty-gritty of a planet becoming a member of the Federation. That is basically the synopsis for how this series will start. As she says, it's a work-based comedy, and it will be basically a live-action sitcom. She also hinted that it'll actually be based around the Picard era, and they jumped on that in the interview and said, so could Mariner be leading this if she was to star in it? And she basically said, I do write things for me, so, maybe. It does seem that she more than subtly hinted that this will be a new Mariner TV show. Now, I love Mariner in Lower Decks. It's one of my favourite characters in that show, really, even though there was just amazing characters throughout. I adored her in the Strange New Worlds crossover when she actually played that character live action. I thought she brought it to life beautifully. Boimler was just as good, to be honest, but, that show and that episode really showed what could be done with this sitcom. Do I want them to do a Star Trek sitcom? Not really, if I'm honest. But I did love Lower Decks. So if we're going to replace Lower Decks with something and it's going to be this work-based sitcom, why not? As long as we do get other Star Trek to go along with it, a proper Star Trek show, sorry, Tawny, but this isn't going to be a proper Star Trek show. I don't mind too much. And then if it's good, I'll enjoy it. My problem is, by making it live action, you make it canon. And I've always said this. The thing about Lower Decks was, because it was animated, it sort of separated it slightly from, the rest of Star Trek. So you could sort of put it in a pocket on its own. This sitcom idea is canon. It's on screen. It's not separate at all. So they do have to find a balance between the comedy, as I said, and the Star Trek like Tawny's talking about. And I don't see quite how you do that. Now, real life does have comedy in it. Real life is funny. So if they did something more like The Office, rather than Lower Decks, which was a screwball comedy at the end of the day, maybe, but I don't really see how it works. But hey, if it's written well, done well, perfect. She does mention in the interview that it has not been greenlit, as I have said again several times over the last 12 months or so since this was announced at San Diego Comic-Con. This is not greenlit. This is something that Secret Hideout are developing. They have pitched to Paramount and they didn't say no, but they are developing it and working on it. She was asked, what is the hold-up, basically? Is it just waiting for everything to be sorted out at Paramount? Is it something to do with Secret Hideout and they're not ready? She said, look, I don't know why it's not been greenlit. If I did know why it's not been greenlit yet, I would go and sort it out. At the end of the day, what I'm being told is very straightforward, that it is to do with the Paramount sale to Skydance, and that Skydance are not going to allow anything to be put into production when it comes to Star Trek at the moment, because they still haven't actually made a final decision on what they want to do with Star Trek. But the leanings I'm hearing and the rumours I'm hearing is that they are more in the direction of not moving forwards with the renewing the Secret Hideout contract. So where would that leave this show? A kind of dead in the water, if I'm honest. They have pitched it to Paramount. I would love Tawny to continue with Star Trek in whatever form Skydance decide to take it. There is no reason why they couldn't get her on board with something else. But do we want them to do that? She's amazing. But for me, there is far too much comedy in Star Trek at the moment. Strange New Worlds is basically half comedy, half Star Trek. There are so many silly screwball episodes now, it's becoming hard to tell the difference. We know we're getting more screwball comedy episodes in this season. We know about 2 at very least. There's the one where half the crew become Vulcans, half the bridge crew at least. And we know we're getting the murder mystery episode, which again seems to be very much like Clue or something. It's very, very over the top at very least. In the last season, we got at least 3 episodes that I would say were quirky, funny episodes. For me, that's too much. It's not enough Star Trek. And it's fine to have some humour, some light moments in an episode. But when episodes are driven by the ridiculous storyline, the silly storyline, like, Spock becoming a human for a day or whatever, then it's becoming a comedy. It's becoming silly. And for me, I don't love it. When we only get 2 episodes of a series, I want it to be Star Trek. I don't want it to be a million other things. But that's what Alex Kurtzman thinks they should do with Star Trek. He thinks we should be messing with different genres, like murder mysteries, like romances, like comedy episodes, like musicals. And I don't. I think it's a stupid business model, and I really think that if Skydance are looking at this, that is the point they should be focusing on. Do we want this man that thinks this is a good idea leading Star Trek in the future? I think most fans would agree, no, get him out. Let's get back to actually having Star Trek, please. But what do you think? Get into the comments and tell me. I think most of you agree that actually we want Kurtzman out, so I'm not sure I should ask that question. But do you agree with me that there is just far too much comedy in Strange New Worlds? Far too many silly episodes. Far too many of these quirky episodes. And we're going to get more of it. We only get 10 episodes every single season. It's prime Star Trek real estate, and they're wasting it. Or do you actually love those episodes? Love musicals? Love messing with different genres? Get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can become a member of the channel and get to see a lot of these videos 24 hours before everybody else. Go check that out. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.